Oh, Step Into My Office is my favorite game of the weekend. I love this game, and I love it because of the backstory of how many times Philip Rivers has played the Raiders in his career. Long history, and a history of dominance. He went about 10 years once without even losing to the Raiders. Both of these teams need it badly. When we're figuring out who matters, this is like the Who Matters Bowl right now, Colts, Raiders. And I like Las Vegas in this one.
Do you? I like the 8-4 Colts. And as much as I wanted to criticize Philip Rivers and him not playing well over the last couple of years and the inconsistency, he's been playing pretty good this year. I mean, he's had some moments, of course, where age starts to creep in. Maybe he forces the ball downfield. But let me give a quick shout out. Nyheim Hines is a dude that has been balling out this year, a guy that you can lean on. He can do it all. Play running back, wide receiver, and even special teams. Shout out to Nyheim Hines.
We love him.
There's this daily fantasy that Nate does. He's saying, go Mahomes. There are two quarterbacks that I almost would stay away from, like miles away in a big spot right now that I just don't know what we're getting with Derek Carr and Philip Rivers. And they can both silence so many critics with just going out there, playing great football and winning this game. Both those guys have critics up the what for their whole careers. Go out there and play well and win this game.
I will say Philip Rivers has a lot of history with this opponent. He has taken on the Raiders and beaten them 18 times. That is more than he has beaten any other opponent in his career.
Wow.
Wild. Okay, Seahawks hosting the Jets in Seattle. What are we looking for here? Eeny, meeny, miny, Nate.
Jamal Adams is coming back to a team that he spent so much time with. And now you're on a squad that I think when you look at it from the outside looking in, yeah, the Seahawks are supposed to be better, and they're the better organization. They got everything figured out. But you're not playing well defensively. So if you want to go and really slam the door on why you left the Jets and make sure people don't criticize you, then go out there and have yourself a day. There's nothing like playing against your former squad in the NFL.
I'm fascinated by the Jets, the cult of personalities. When Greg Williams is now gone, Adam Gase still there, probably really badly wants to win some games, and yet I steadfastly believe it is not good for the Jets organization to win this game this weekend. I don't. I think there's an incredible quarterback that they could get, and they could risk getting that and blowing that if they lose, or if they win, rather. So it's a strange time and 50 years of strange time for the Jets, but I want to watch them. Giants
went into Seattle and beat the Seahawks with Colt McCoy. What if the Jets went into Seattle and beat the Seahawks? What do we make of the Seattle Seahawks? A couple of weeks ago, we were talking about Super Bowl favorites. I don't know what to make of this team. And I really would be interested if the Jets are giving them a battle. And guess what? That Jamal Adams thing, real quick. How much do the Jets players want to go beat Jamal Adams? Think about the other one.
There's something there with that. You mentioned it earlier this week. No trivia for you here, but I will let you know the Jets haven't won in Seattle straight since 1997. To put that into perspective, that was played in something called the Kingdom.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the Kingdom.
The Seahawks were still a part of the AFC West, and Bill Belichick was coaching that Jets defense.
Kingdom.
NFC North battle between the Packers and Lions. That one's in Detroit. What is intriguing to you, Shrakes?
That Lions team played like their butts were on fire last week. Again, I didn't know what we were going to get after they fired Matt Patricia, but they were willing to do anything for Darrell Bevell. And the numbers are crazy. I think they had more big plays with Stafford in that one game since Patricia was fired than they did the entire Patricia era. It was some crazy stat. This is not a walkover game for Rodgers and Adams as we've thought they might have. This Lions team wants to win for Bevell, and they were playing so well last week. I don't think this is as easy as it seems.
We know the Packers are going to be in. We know they're going to matter. I want to see how tough they are defensively. I want to see them shut down this Lions running game with Adrian Peterson, who is not impressed playing Green Bay, will run over anyone. I know the Packers are going to be in. I want to know how tough they are. I think they'll find out against Detroit.
Yeah, a couple of things I'm really looking forward to is the fact that Aaron Rodgers is leading the league in the NFL. Is he going to slam the door on the MVP race? Because right now it seems like it's him running away with also Pat Mahomes. And then they protect him so well. Aaron Rodgers does not touch the ground in these games. He is a guy that can stand up in the pocket and not get sacked better than any other quarterback.
Saints going to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. Jalen Hurts, first game. That's obviously a huge storyline here. What are we keeping our eye on, KB?
Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders, a supposed savior for the Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts is going to need help. If you want to win this one, if you want to stay close in this one against maybe the best team in all of football, you have to get off. Get him the ball in the first 3 plays of the game. I don't care if you punt. Feed that dude. He's your guy.
Yeah, we're looking at Jalen Hurts. Let's just keep it real.
Yeah.
What is this experiment is going to be?
Yeah.
I mean, what is it going to be? Carson Wentz is going to be sitting on the sideline. He's going to do what he does. He's a leader. He's going to peg well, and he's going to have the smile on his face. He's probably going to be beating himself up inside. But Jalen Hurts, you have an opportunity right now to prove to the organization that drafted you that you are the future.
There was a really almost funny moment, and I think he did it tongue-in-cheek, but they asked Jim Schwartz about Malcolm Jenkins, who he coached for years, both with the Eagles, of course, and he was like, well, I'm a little hesitant to praise a player these days.
You go, Jim.
After the DK Metcalf thing, but he was waxing poetic about how smart Malcolm Jenkins is and how important he was to that defense. Malcolm Jenkins up against the Eagles. I think the Saints take care of business, and I don't think it's going to be particularly competitive in this one.
Eagles beat the Saints just once over the last 13 years. Traeger, do what you were born to do. Who was the Eagles quarterback in that game?
Eagles, Saints, Michael Vick.
Sam Bradford.
Sam Bradford. John Murphy.
Yeah, time for a mad minute. Here's how this works. We put 60 seconds on the clock, and the guys share that minute to say what they're looking forward to in a given game. Now, Week 14 is already underway. This team took down the Patriots of the AFC. Who's fighting for dibs to play in that AFC Championship game? It might be this one right here, the Sunday nighter. It's Steelers-Bills. You just saw some sizzle reel of that. It's in Buffalo. Cold conditions. Shregs, what has you excited about this matchup? Doesn't look like the Patriots will be in the thing.
No, I said it before we came on air. I don't think I've been more excited for a game all season than this Steelers-Bills game.
Really?
It feels like it's a playoff game. And yes, they might both be playing in January, and they both will be playing in January. But this is one of those games where the Bills just beat the snot out of a good 49ers team and now are at home against a reeling Steelers. There's a chance Josh Allen and the Bills beat the Steelers by 20 points. And we're all like, wait a second here. I feel like that momentum's happening. Prove me wrong, Steelers.
And it's not just X's and O's. It's also for the simple fact they're playing their third game in 12 days. So if you're a player on the Steelers roster, you're like, man, it seemed like everything's stacked against us. We were on this unbelievable run. But I'll say this, who cares? Go out there and play football. You got a team that wants to punch you in the mouth. Let's see if you punch back.
I want to see the punch-in, not literally, between the Steelers wide receivers and the Bills secondary. Those are two great groups with a lot to prove. Bills secondary, really good players, haven't been that great this year. Steelers, we've been talking about all week. I talked about last segment, dropping everything in sight. That is the matchup that will decide this game, and I think Buffalo's going to win.
Ooh, the Steelers seem to like playing up in Buffalo. They have won 4 straight there. Shregs, the last time that the Bills won a home game against the Steelers was back in 1999. Who was the quarterback?
For the Buffalo Bills, I'm going to go with 99, Flutie.
Doug Flutie.
Nice.
Love it. Okay, Titans heading down to Jacksonville. Shregs is on the board. They're taking on the Jaguars this week. What are we watching for? Nate.
Shregs over there like, let me tap into. I'm looking at the running game. And I know if you're thinking Titans, you're saying, oh, well, you're talking about Derrick Henry. No. James Robinson.
Let's go.
Like, he's third in the NFL. And I know there's not much to cheer for when you're a Jags fan.
Awesome.
But the fact that the dude is just under 1,000 yards and he's going to crack that, maybe he does it with the best running back in football on the other side, I'm going to be looking at that young man.
Titans need to take care of business early in this one. This shouldn't be a contest. The Jaguars have been so competitive the last few weeks. Titans need to make a statement internally in their own locker room, like, we can hang with those big boys that are playing up in Buffalo today in Kansas City. Titans, coming off of last week, I would say they need to win this one.
I saw a great jealous girlfriend meme about the Jaguars, and it was the Jaguar face was turning like this, and Gardner Minshew's over the side like, and they're looking at Trevor Lawrence walking away and just totally smitten. It was pretty well done. I will say this, Derrick Henry versus the Jaguars, you say, oh, they always destroys them. The first time around this year, they kept him in check, totally. But look it up. Session 2 of Derrick Henry versus the Jaguars is the one where planets get moved, and I'm worried about the